to day 31 of my 6th annual SLAP challenge. SLAP, S-L-A-P, stands for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups. We are doing 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. And this is day 31 already. But that does not mean that it is too late to join the challenge. It is never too late to join. If you want to just jump in and start today, you can do the final 10 days of the challenge with me, and that would be great. Of course, you do not have to join the challenge. If you just want to do this workout with me today, that is amazing as well. There are timestamps in the description box down below the video. So if you would prefer to just skip straight ahead to the workout, you can use the chapter markers to do that. But if you would like to join the challenge, and this is the first you're hearing of it, let me just tell you that there is a playlist for this challenge. I will link the playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and I will link it at the very end of the video as well so that you can't miss it. So click on the link, save the playlist, even if you're not sure if you want to commit to doing the challenge yet, just save the playlist so that when and if you decide that you want to do the challenge, you have all of the workouts readily available to you. And then just begin by watching that day 1 video. The day 1 video is going to explain everything you need to know about what the challenge is exactly, how it works, how you can participate, why we're doing it. I also went over the proper form for squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups, and I provided tons of beginner modifications. So watch that day 1 video, and then of course if you have any questions about the challenge, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. But once you decide that you want to join the challenge, you have a couple of options. Again, you can jump in and start today, that's fine. You do the challenge your way, okay? Do it in a way that works for you. But it is designed as a 40-day challenge. So if you do want to go back and start on day 1, that is recommended. Just make sure that you begin with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. As long as you start with day 1 on a Wednesday, everything will fall into place. All you have to do is follow along with the playlist. I have made it super easy to follow along. Now, if you are not a beginner, then the workouts that we're doing this year might not challenge you very much, because this year I am making a concerted effort, really going out of my way to ensure that the challenge is accessible to super duper ultra day 1 beginners. So if you are a beginner, you are in the right place. If you're not a beginner, then you may want to follow along with last year's playlist. Last year was my 5th year in a row doing the challenge. It was the exact same challenge. We were doing at least 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of an ab exercise, and 40 push-ups a day every single day except Sundays for 40 days. But the workouts we were doing last year were much more intense. They were a lot more difficult. They were generally a lot longer because we were frequently doing more than just those 160 reps. Generally speaking, the versions of squats, lunges, abs, and push-ups we were doing were a bit more advanced. We were adding weight to a lot of the workouts and also incorporating cardio, about 20 to 30 minutes of moderate paced cardio right into most of the workouts. So if you are more advanced and you really want something that's going to challenge you, check out last year's playlist. I will link last year's playlist up here in the iCard. It will also be linked in the description box down below the video, and it will be linked again at the very end of the video so that you can't miss it. So if you are more advanced, save last year's playlist, but save this year's playlist as well. If you're really strong and in really good shape, save both playlists, because the workouts that we're doing this year, even though they're much shorter and much simpler because they're geared towards beginners, and also because they're geared towards beginners, I'm really trying to not use any equipment. So we're really focusing on body weight exercises this year. But these are all still great workouts, and they're great options to have, because if you're in really good shape, you are going to be able to complete almost all of the workouts that we're doing this year for the challenge in under 10 minutes. So if you're super pressed for time, one of these workouts that we're doing this year is great. 10 minutes, you can get your reps done for the day. We're also focusing on body weight exercises this year because I'm gearing the challenge towards beginners, and I'm assuming that most beginners don't have fitness equipment. So if you are traveling and you're staying at a hotel or an Airbnb and you don't have access to fitness equipment, then you can choose one of the workouts from this year. It's super easy. These workouts also will make a great warm-up for something more intense. So maybe if you're planning on doing a long run today or a long hike or bike ride, you could use one of these workouts as a warm-up, and that would work really well. Or if you just felt like taking your workout to the beach today or the park or the hiking trail and you don't want to be lugging any equipment with you, you don't want to be lugging like dumbbells or a kettlebell or a big heavy sandbag or a medicine ball or something, then these short little bodyweight workouts that we're doing this year are really kind of perfect for that situation. So just save both playlists if you're more advanced, because even if you are strong and you're in great shape and you're capable of doing the more challenging, more intense versions of the workouts that we were doing last year, it's still a great option to have these short bodyweight workouts available to you. And you can just kind of bounce back and forth between the two playlists. I am sharing a new workout with you every single day, just like I did last year. And the workouts are numbered 1 through 40. So of course you can start on day 1 and go in order, that's the way I designed the challenge, that's the way I'm doing the challenge. And if you want to do the challenge that way, that's fine. But just remember that if you're doing it, it's your challenge. So you do it in whatever way works for you. And really the only requirement to participate in the challenge is just that you're getting your reps done every day. So you don't have to do a specific workout on a specific day. Like I said, you can kind of bounce back and forth between the two playlists, but you can also kind of bounce back and forth within one playlist or the other. So on any given day, let's say you don't like the workout that I'm doing today, but there was a workout that we did a week or 2 weeks ago that you loved, just repeat that workout. If you like the workout I'm doing today, but you can't do the squat variation I'm doing, just substitute with any squat variation you can. You can always just swap out specific exercises, or you can choose a different workout. As long as you're getting your reps done, it doesn't matter how you get them done. So you don't even necessarily have to do a structured workout at all. You can just spread out your reps randomly throughout the day if that works better for you. Maybe you don't have time to do a structured workout, or maybe it's still too difficult for you to do all of your reps at once. So what you could do is just get up in the morning and do 10 squats, 10 lunges, 10 reps of any ab exercise you want, and 10 push-ups. It can be any variation of those 4 exercises you want. And then you can just repeat that 3 more times throughout the course of your day. So you could do it again after lunch, you could do it again after you get home from work, and then once more before bed. There's your 160 reps. So if you're doing it, it's your challenge. Make whatever changes and modifications you need to make it work for you. You do your challenge in your way. All right, so as long as you're getting your reps done every day, you have met your requirement to participate in the challenge. And remember that I am right here doing the challenge right along with you, but I'm not just working out with you every day. I am also here to answer questions, provide guidance. I am here to help motivate you and support you and encourage you. So please, if you have any questions, please ask, okay? I'm always here to help. So let's go ahead and get into what we are doing for today's workout. All you're going to need today is something soft beneath you. So I have actually 2 mats here. I have my little jump rope mat, but then I have a larger yoga mat over the top. So any kind of exercise mat is fine. The reason I'm using my yoga mat is because it's longer and I need that length. My jump rope mat isn't quite long enough. So if you have a yoga mat, that's going to be the right length that you're probably going to need for this workout. If you don't have a mat, a towel may suffice. If you are working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, then you may not need anything at all. But if you don't have a mat, I strongly recommend investing in a mat. I think that's the #1 thing. If you invest in nothing else for home workouts, invest in a yoga mat or in one of those thicker exercise mats. But make sure that you have something soft beneath you. And then I am also going to be adding weight today, but again, we're focusing on body weight exercises for this year's challenge since I'm gearing the challenge towards beginners. So if you're a beginner, don't worry. I'm assuming that you don't own dumbbells. Normally I would use dumbbells for this workout, but since I am trying not to use any fitness equipment this year, what I'm going to do instead is use household items. Okay, so if you happen to have a set of light dumbbells, you can get those ready. That's gonna be all you need for today, a mat and a set of dumbbells. So if you don't have dumbbells, that's fine. You can use household items like a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles, okay? And you can fill them with water or uncooked rice or dried beans, maybe some powdered laundry detergent or kitty litter, anything like that, just to give them a little bit of weight. I have a full shampoo and conditioner bottle that I've been using for a lot of these workouts where I'm adding weight. So that's what I'm going to use today. So if you have shampoo and conditioner bottles that are in your shower right now that are full and they weigh the same, that's perfect. But if not, you can take a couple of empty ones that you are going to recycle and fill them with water or rice or beans or something like that. And if not, you can grab a couple of water bottles. So use what you've got, get creative. If you absolutely have nothing that's going to work for weight, or you just don't feel comfortable adding weight to your workout, that's fine. I will be providing equipment-free substitutions. So don't worry, if you don't want to add weight, you can still do this workout right along with me. All right, but that's all you're going to need. Something soft beneath you and something to hold onto for weight. So dumbbells are ideal. Just make sure they're not too heavy for you. I recommend using a light set of dumbbells if you're a beginner. Just something that feels light to you when you pick it up. And if not, household items, okay? So as long as it's something that you can maintain a secure grip on throughout the 2 exercises where we're adding weight, and you're not going to drop it on yourself and hurt yourself, or drop it and break something or make a mess, then any number of household items will work. So we're starting today with squats and push-ups. I'm combining my squats and my push-ups into a little combo, and I'm doing assisted pistol squats. Now, even though they're assisted, this exercise is tough. It's a little bit advanced, so let me show it to you first, and then if it's too difficult for you, you can just do air squats or any squat variation you want to do. That's fine. Remember, that's one of the beautiful things about this challenge, why it's so easy to customize and make it your own, because any of the versions of these exercises that I'm doing today, if you can't do it, it doesn't work for you, just swap it out with any other variation of that exercise that does work for you, okay? So if you can't do the pistol squats the way I'm doing them, just do air squats or any squat variation you want. But I'm going to start down towards one end of my mat, and I'm going to do an assisted pistol squat. So we've done assisted pistol squats before sitting onto a chair or a plyo box, and they're easier that way for sure. This is a more advanced version of an assisted pistol squat. So what I'm going to do is transfer my weight to one foot. I'm going to pick up this other foot and then bend the knee. This foot's going to be behind me. And you want to make sure, as always, with our squats and our lunges, that you're starting by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. So your shoulders are back and down. Your chest is lifted high, nice and high. Make sure your abs are super strong and tight and engaged, like someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach as hard as they can, and you're bracing for that impact, okay? So shoulders back and down, chest is high, abs are tight. Transfer your weight to one foot, pick up the other foot, bend the knee. This foot is behind you. Now you're going to hinge at the hips, just like we do for a regular air squat. Like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. You always want to send your weight back, making sure that your weight is in your heel, okay? And then at the same time, remember your chest is lifted nice and high. So think about touching the wall in front of you with your chest, keeping your spine nice and elongated. Remember, your bullet points for squats: flat back, weight in the heel, or heels, but in this case, one heel, okay? So shoulders back and down, chest is high, tighten up the abs. And now transfer your weight to one foot, pick up the other leg, foot's behind you, hinge at the hips. Push the booty back. And then you're gonna bend this knee and sink all the way down into your squat. So it's a one-legged squat is what it is. That's what a pistol squat is. It's a squat but on one leg. And then you're going to press the heel of your standing foot into the ground. Actively press your heel into the ground like you're trying to press the ground away from you, and stand. Now the reason it's called an assisted pistol squat is because you have this leg and this foot here to assist you. So the point is to use this leg as little as possible. It's there to assist you, so use it as much as you need, but the point is to make your standing leg do as much of the work as you possibly can. Okay, so you really want to focus on pressing this heel into the ground, engaging all of the muscles from this foot through your legs, your quads, your glutes, your core, and try to use this leg as much as you possibly can to come up, okay? So this foot is here to assist you as much as you need on the way down. So as you're lowering yourself into that squat, you want to try to use this foot as little as possible, but when you get to a point where you need to set it down, it is there to assist you. Same thing on the way up. So as you're coming up, this foot is there to assist you as much as you need and for as long as you need. But the goal is to use it as little as possible. So as you're pressing this heel into the ground to stand up, you want to pick up this foot at the earliest time that you can. You know what I mean? You can keep it on the ground for as long as you need. You can keep it on the ground the whole time if you need to. If you need to kind of have this foot on the ground behind you the entire time, that's fine. Do what you need to do. So if that's where you are, then just keep this foot on the ground the whole time. But you want it off of the ground for as long of a stretch of time as you can. So you want to tap it down at the very, very last second that you can. And then as you're standing, you want to pick it up off the ground as soon as you can. Just make sure you're working to your own level, okay? So do not push your body into doing anything it is not ready to do. That foot is there to assist you as much as you need, so use it as much as you need. Just challenge yourself to use it as little as you can. Okay, so if that's your modification, I guess, is to just keep this foot on the ground the whole time, all right? So if you need to just do this, you can do that, all right? That's your modification. If that's still too difficult, you can just have both of your feet flat on the mat for your squat. That's absolutely fine. And just do an air squat. So shoulders are back and down. You're tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Your chest is lifted nice and high. Tighten up those abs. Someone's about to punch you. You're bracing for impact. Now you're going to hinge at the hips. So pushing your booty back like you're trying to touch the wall behind you with your booty. Remembering to keep your chest lifted nice and high like you're trying to touch the wall in front of you with your chest. Elongating that spine so that your back is flat and the weight is in your heels. Flat back, weight in the heels. All right, so I can actually pick up my toes. And then from this position is where you can sink down into your squat, then press the ground away from you. Actively press your heels into the ground, push the ground away to stand so that, again, you're activating all of those muscles from your feet, through your legs, your quads especially, your glutes, and of course your abs are already nice and super strong and tight and engaged. All right, so basic air squat, shoulders back and down, chest high, abs tight, hinging at the hips. Push the booty back, keep your back flat, keep the weight in your heels as you sink down into your squat, then press your heels into the ground to stand. Okay, so try it on one leg if you want. If not, just stick with a basic air squat. Then we're going to walk our hands out so that we're in a plank position. Now you have a couple of options. I'm going to be doing this on one foot because I started here with my pistol squat, my assisted pistol squat. So this foot is elevated. I'm gonna do my pistol squat, and then as I stand, this same foot is still elevated, so I'm going to keep this foot elevated. Now I'm going to bend down and put both of my hands on the mat, and then just start walking my hands straight out until I'm in a plank position with this one foot elevated. Now, if you're doing an air squat with both feet flat on the mat, you can keep both feet flat on the mat, bend down, and walk your hands out into a plank position and keep both feet flat on the mat the whole time, okay? That is up to you. If you are not strong enough to do the pistol squat, so if you're choosing to do an air squat with both feet on the mat, you can, if you want, pick up one foot at that point and do your inchworm on one foot, okay? So whatever's gonna work for you, but you can do the squat on one leg, or you can have both feet flat on the mat, and you can do the inchworm with one foot elevated or with both feet flat on the mat, okay? Make the decision that's best for you. But then we're just gonna do a push-up. So my leg is going to be elevated, so I'm going to do a one leg push-up. So I'll put together, this crane fly, like, there you go. I'll put together, and my combo is going to look like this. I'm going to do a one leg squat, stand, keeping this foot elevated. I'm going to bend down, walk my hands out so that I'm in a plank position with this foot still elevated, and then do my push-up from this position. Then walk my hands back in, keeping this foot elevated the whole time, and stand. And that's one rep, okay? So the combo is just squat, inchworm, push-up. So it can be any squat variation you want, inchworm out with one foot or both feet on the mat, doesn't matter, and then any push-up variation you want, okay? That's it, that's the combo. So just remember, with your push-ups, your 3 bullet points. Number 1, make sure your head is in line with your spine. Number 2, shoulders are away from the ears. And number 3, your back is flat, meaning that your abs are tight and you're using your abs to lift your hips high and keep them high. You're not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat because that causes an arch in your back, and that's our 3rd bullet point, flat back, all right? So head in line with the spine means this. You are standing with your back up against the wall, and now imagine just lightly pressing the back of your head into the wall. That's where you want your head, okay? Just perfectly up and down, straight in line with your spine. And once it's there, make sure it doesn't move. It's very common that people will kind of bob their head up and down while they're doing the push-ups. So you want to keep your head in line with your spine, and then you want it to stay still. So starting here in your plank position, that looks like this. So if you are allowing your head to drop down towards the mat, you want to fix that, but you don't need to overcorrect by hyperextending your neck and jutting your chin out. You just want your head in a nice neutral position in line with your spine, and then make sure it does not move. Bullet point number 2, shoulders away from the ears. So what that means is that it's very common for people to kind of sink down into their shoulders like this. So the way to fix that is, first of all, make sure you're spreading out all 10 fingers. And then what you want to do is really press the mat away from you, press the ground away from you, so that you are pushing yourself up as high as you can. So from here, you're going to spread out those fingers, push the ground away from you, and now do you see how my shoulders are away from my ears, and I'm up as high as I can get in this plank pose. And then number 3, flat back. So it's another very common mistake that people will allow their hips or their belly to kind of droop down towards the mat like this, but that is causing an arch in my back, and we want a flat back. So you need to tighten up your ab muscles. Again, it's like someone's about to come along and punch you in the stomach. You're bracing for that impact. That's how tight your ab muscles should be. So tighten up those abs. Use your abs to lift your hips high and keep them high. Now, if your hips are slightly elevated like this, that's not terrible, because you'll notice that in this position, my back is flat. So as long as your back is flat, you're not going to hurt yourself doing the push-ups that way with your hips slightly elevated, and it will actually make the push-ups just a little bit easier. So don't worry about it too much, but it's not ideal. It's something to be aware of and something that you want to work towards correcting. But if that's where you are today and that's how you need to do the push-ups today, don't worry about it too much. You're not going to hurt yourself, okay? But ideally, you want your body to be in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. So if your hips are up here, it's not terrible, but you should work towards correcting it. What you really, really want to avoid is the opposite, allowing your hips or your belly to drop down, causing an arch in your back. Right here is ideal. This is where you want to be, okay? So that your body is in one straight line from your heels to your shoulders. And if you are doing knee push-ups, it's the exact same thing. The only difference is that your knees are on the mat. So start by placing your hands directly underneath your shoulders. Now you're going to step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. And from here, right where your knees are, just place them down on the mat. So again, you're making sure that your head is in line with your spine. You're not allowing your head to drop down like this. You're also not overcorrecting by hyperextending your neck. Your head is in line with your spine, and you're going to make sure it stays there. You're not sinking down into your shoulders. You're spreading out those fingers and pushing the mat away from you, pushing yourself up as high as you can, and your back is flat. So you are not allowing your hips or your belly to droop down towards the mat. You're tightening your abs. You're using your abs to lift your hips up high and keep them high. All right, so whether you are on your toes or your knees, the principle is the same. You want your body in one straight line, either from your heels to your shoulders or from your knees to your shoulders. And from there, it's just a moving plank. So once you have found that starting position and your body's in one straight line, I want you to think of your body like it is a plank of wood, like a 2x4. And all you're doing is lowering it down to the mat and then pushing it back up. But nothing else moves, okay? So you want to maintain that straight line either from your knees to your shoulders or your heels to your shoulders the entire time. Now, the goal is to get your chest all the way down to the mat if you can, but you may not be there today, and that's fine. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat, just shorten up your range of motion. So if you can only come down this close to the mat with your chest, that's fine. That's your push-up. As soon as you've gotten your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, you're going to stop and then press the ground away and push yourself back up. The temptation is going to be, because you're trying so hard to get your chest all the way down, if you can only come down this far, the temptation is going to be to lower your hips or your belly down to the mat, but we don't want to do that because remember, we want to keep our back flat. We don't want to break that straight line from our heels to our shoulders. Another really common mistake, you're trying so hard to get all the way down, get your chest all the way down to the mat, but you can't quite get there, so the temptation is going to be to lower your forehead down to the mat instead. That is a very common mistake, and I think a lot of people don't even realize they're making that mistake. I think it's done on a subconscious level because you're trying so hard to just get all the way down. So when you're unable to get your chest all the way down, the temptation is going to be to lower your forehead down. But don't do that. Remember, head in line with the spine and it stays still. So it's okay if you don't get all the way down, just make sure you're not breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders. It's fine to not get your chest all the way down. What's not fine is to compensate for the fact that you're unable to get your chest all the way down by lowering your hips or your belly down to the mat or by lowering your forehead down to the mat, okay? So if you need to shorten up your range of motion, just shorten up your range of motion. Lower your chest as close to the mat as you can without breaking that straight line from your knees to your shoulders, and then press yourself back up. Okay, and if you're doing the push-ups from your toes, same thing. If you cannot get your chest all the way down to the mat without breaking that straight line from your heels to your shoulders, then you have two options. Option number one, put your knees down and do knee push-ups. Option number two is shorten up your range of motion. Okay, so if you can only come down this far, then stop here, push the mat away and push yourself back up. But don't compensate by lowering your hips or your belly. Don't compensate by lowering your forehead, okay? Body in one straight line. So again, your bullet points for push-ups. Head in line with the spine and make sure it stays still. Shoulders away from the ears and flat back. So tighten up those abs, lift your hips high and keep them high. Make sure that there's not an arch in your back, okay? But any push-up variation you want to do is fine. I'm just doing a standard push-up, but I'm going to have one foot elevated. So you can do a standard push-up with both feet on the mat, or you can do a knee push-up either with one foot elevated or both knees on the mat, okay? So if you're doing the whole one leg thing, but you're doing knee push-ups, you can do your assisted pistol squat, walk out to your plank position with one leg, put one knee down for your push-up, and then walk it back. All right? If you're doing air squats with both feet flat on the mat, you can do your air squat. Keep both feet flat on the mat as you walk your hands out. And then you can put your knees down for a push-up, or you can do the push-up from your toes and walk it back in, okay? So that's our first little combo. That's squats and push-ups. I'm on one leg. I'm going to be staying on the same leg the entire time. We're going to do 20 sets of that combo. So it's going to get really, really difficult staying on the whole leg for that entire set of 20. You can alternate legs if you want. I just find that it can be a little bit confusing to remember which side you're on sometimes, and I really kind of want that burnout today, so you can alternate legs if you want. It's going to make it a lot easier. It doesn't sound like it would make a huge difference, but it's going to make a huge difference. I am really going to be crying doing this exercise today because I'm going to stay on one leg the entire time. It's going to increase the difficulty a lot. So if you're not using one leg for your squat and you're not using one leg for the inchworm and the push-up, you don't have to worry about any of this. But if you're doing any of the one leg variations that I'm doing, pistol squat, walking out, doing your inchworm on one leg and doing your push-up on one leg, then you need to decide if you're going to alternate legs with each rep, or if you're going to be stupid and do what I'm doing and do all 20 sets of the combo on one leg, okay? That's your decision, so just do whatever works for you. But that's our first combo, okay? We're gonna do 20 sets of that combo. And then we are going to move on to lunges and sit-ups. So let me grab my weights, my shampoo bottle, and my conditioner bottle so that I can show you the exercises the way I'm doing them, and then I'll show you your equipment-free substitutions in case you do not want to add weight to your workout today. All right, so I've got my shampoo and conditioner bottle from the guest bathroom. These are full pretty much, so they weigh like maybe a pound and a half each. So if you do have a light set of dumbbells, that's ideal, but if you don't, you can absolutely just use household items. Water bottles or shampoo bottles work just fine. So I'm just going to start by holding both of my bottles together like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reverse lunge. And as I do the reverse lunge, I'm going to bring one weight down towards my front foot. And as I stand, I'm going to bring this back leg up in front of me, drive the knee up towards my chest. I'm going to take the opposite hand and punch to the side. And that's one rep. Okay, so it looks like this. Reverse lunge, touch the weight down, and then bring the knee up and punch. Right into the next rep. Step that foot back and lunge, punch. Okay, so let me show you from this side. I'm starting with my feet about hip width apart, okay? So you're not starting with your feet super wide apart. You don't want your feet wider than your shoulders. You also are not starting with your feet together. You want to be in kind of like a neutral position. So for me, that's feet about hip width apart. So just stand in a way that feels comfortable for you. And again, remember with our lunges, you want to start by tucking your shoulder blades into your back pockets. Shoulders are back and down, chest is lifted high, abs are super tight. And remember our bullet points for squats and lunges, flat back, weight in the heels. So as you step back into your lunge, you want to make sure you're keeping your back flat and you're not rounding your back, okay? So tuck the shoulder blades into the back pocket, lift the chest high, it stays lifted high. Abs are tight, step back, sink down to that lunge and make sure your back stays flat and the weight is in your heel. So you want to do your best to have about a 90-degree angle in this front knee, meaning that my knee in my front leg is more over the heel of my front foot as opposed to being out over the toes like this, okay? And then from here, you're going to press your heel into the ground and stand. If you need to reset, you can put the foot down. This is a modification. I'm not going to put this foot down. I'm going to bring this leg straight up. Drive that knee right up in front of me, okay? So it's going to be challenging to balance, and then even more so when we're adding that twist punch, because I'm twisting my body thoracically with that punch, punching across my body the opposite way. So let me show you with the weights from the side. So I'm starting with my feet in a neutral position, holding my weights in front of me. I'm gonna step back, bend both knees, and sink into that lunge. And as I do, I'm gonna reach the weight down. So this is the opposite hand, reaching down towards the opposite foot. Then I'm going to press this heel into the mat to stand, bring this knee up in front of me, and then I'm gonna take the opposite hand. It's always opposite hand, opposite leg, twist and punch across my body, okay? Right into the next rep. So if you need to put this foot down and reset, you can, but I'm going from here right into my next rep. Lunge, knee up and punch. Right into the next rep. Okay, so if you need to set the foot down, you can lunge, step, and then drive the knee up and punch if you can, and then put the foot down. Lunge, reset, knee up, punch, reset. That's a modification, okay? If you want to ditch the weights, you can absolutely do this without any weight. You can just do a reverse lunge, knee up. If you want to add that little oblique twist, you can twist and bring opposite elbow to knee. If that's too difficult, you can just drive the knee up. And if you need to reset, you can reset, reset, lunge, reset, knee up and twist, reset. That's a modification. All right, if the knee up and the twist is just too much, you can just work on your reverse lunges, that's fine. Beginner modifications, shorten up your range of motion. So you can shorten up your range of motion on this step back. If you can't step back super far, you can step here. And you can shorten up your range of motion on the lunge. If you can't lunge all the way down so that your back knee taps the mat, then you can just be here, okay? And if you need to hold on to something for support, you can hold on to a chair or a bar stool, the arm of your couch, your dining room table, kitchen counter, a park bench, a plyo box, okay? Any elevated surface will work. Just make sure that whatever you're using for support is strong enough to hold your entire body weight. Even if you're just kind of lightly touching it to help you balance, if you lose your balance and you need to kind of lean into your chair or your stool or whatever you're using more, you want to make sure that whatever you're using is capable of supporting your entire body weight. You also want to make sure that your chair or stool or whatever you're using to assist you is sturdy, meaning that it cannot fold up on you, so don't use a folding chair, for example. You want to make sure that it's well made, in good quality, and something that's in decent condition, so that when you put weight on it, it's not going to collapse or break on you. And you also want to make sure that it's stable. So I do recommend, if you're using a chair or a bar stool or something like that, to place your chair or your stool on top of your mat so that it stays put. You don't want it to be able to slide from underneath you when you put weight on it. So for example, when I'm working out in my living room, if I'm using a chair for anything, I have wood floors, I have wood chairs. So it's very easy for my wooden dining room chair to slide across my wood floor. So I always put the chair on top of a mat so that it stays put. And when I put weight on it, it can't slide from underneath me, okay? So please be smart. Be safe. I do want you to get creative and use what you've got, but just use your common sense and be careful, okay? So as long as you have access to something that is strong enough to support your body weight, sturdy enough so that it won't collapse or break or fold up when you put weight on it, and stable enough so that it cannot slide from underneath you, then any number of elevated surfaces will work. So if you need to hold on to something for support, hold on to something for support, okay? And then you can shorten up your range of motion. Just take a short step back and lunge just a little bit, okay? And then you can add the knee up if you want. If holding on to something for support makes it manageable to drive the knee up, you can do that, but you can eliminate it if you want. If you're a beginner and you need support, just hold on to your chair or whatever you're using for support and just work on your reverse lunges. Step back and lunge, shorten up the range of motion if you need to, okay? So those are your beginner modifications. I already gave you your equipment-free substitutions. And yeah, that's it. So that's our lunge variation. So any reverse lunge variation you want to do is fine. If you don't want to do reverse lunges, any lunge variation you want to do is fine. If you prefer to do forward lunges or side lunges or dragon lunges, you do you, okay? With or without weight. But I am doing a reverse lunge with weight, touching down with that weight on the lunge, driving the knee up, and then punching. One last thing with the lunges, if you are able to tap this back knee down to the mat, that's fine, you don't have to, but if you're able to and you want to, just please make sure the movement is under control and you're not banging your knee into the ground because it hurts. The movement should be under control regardless, but just be especially careful if you're tapping that back knee to the ground because I don't want anyone getting hurt. And I have on more than one occasion gotten a little sloppy, not really had the best control over my movement or kind of lost my spatial awareness and didn't realize how close my knee was to the ground and banged my knee into the ground, and it's not fun, so please don't do that. All right, so that's lunges, and the final exercise is abs. So I'm just doing sit-ups today. I'm going to add a little tricep press at the top since we have our weights here. And this middle part of the workout, we're doing lunges and abs. So for this section, I already have the weights for my lunges. I'm gonna add them to my sit-ups as well. So I am going to start down here on my mat. I'm gonna come all the way down on my back, and I'm going to have my arms extended up overhead, holding onto my weights like this. My knees are bent. And I'm just going to sit up. And as I sit up, I'm bringing the weights with me. I'm gonna stretch up. I want my back all the way flat and I'm reaching up towards the ceiling at the top of the movement right here. And now from here, I'm just gonna do a little tricep overhead press. So I'm going to bend my elbows and let the weights fall behind my head like this. And then straighten the elbows, press the weights back overhead, and then reverse the movement, lowering my torso back down to the mat with control and extending my arms up overhead. Return to my starting position. So sit up, straight, reach up, bend the elbows for your tricep overhead press, press the weights back up overhead, lower the torso with control, and return to the starting position. Sit up and reach, tricep overhead press, and back down. Sit up, press the weights, and back down. So if this tricep overhead press is a new exercise for you, the main thing with this is that you want to glue your elbows to your temples, okay? So as you are sitting up and you have the weights here, you're hinging at the elbow as you lower those weights down behind you and then press them back up. So from your shoulder to your elbow should stay perfectly stationary. So you're starting here. You want to make sure that as you lower the weights, you're just hinging at the elbow, and between your shoulder and your elbow does not move. You want to make sure your elbow is not going back behind you. And as you straighten your arms, you're not bringing your elbows in front of you. Your elbow, from your shoulder to your elbows should be glued to your temples, and they should stay exactly there the whole time. From your shoulder to your elbow doesn't move. You're just hinging at the elbow as you let that weight fall down behind you, and then engaging those triceps, straightening the elbows, making sure that from your shoulder to your elbow stays still. Okay, and that's it. It's a super simple exercise. If holding on to both of your weights is too heavy for this, you can hold on to just one weight and do the exercise like this, okay? I'm gonna be holding on to both of these because they're super light. But if you don't want to add weight, then just do sit-ups. Easy, right? Just eliminate the overhead press. I mean, you could go like this if you want, but there's not really a point to doing that without any resistance. It's not really gonna do anything for you. So you can do it if you want, it's not gonna hurt anything, but you really can just eliminate it. If you're not holding onto any weights, then there's nothing to press up overhead. So you can just have your arms extended overhead, knees bent, sit up and reach. Just a basic sit up, just like we did on day 1 of the challenge, just like we're gonna do on day 40 of the challenge. And then reverse the movement, lower your torso with control. So sit up and reach, back flat, lower down with control. Just regular sit-ups, okay? And if you don't like the reach, you can come forward and touch your toes. You can have your hands behind your neck and bring elbows to knees. It doesn't matter. Any sit-up variation you want to do is fine. Any crunch variation, any ab exercise at all in the whole world that you want to do is fine. If you are unable to get down onto the mat, you can do a standing ab exercise. So option number 1, you can hold onto the wall or your strong, sturdy, stable surface that you held onto for your lunges. That's fine. And then just extend this outside leg straight to the side. Bend the elbow of your free arm, place the hand behind your head, and then you're gonna lift your leg, bend the knee, and as you do that, crunch down and bring knee to elbow. The goal is to actually touch your elbow to your knee, but if you're not there yet, work to your own level. So if you can only come this far, that's fine. Just be where you are, but what you're working towards is getting your elbow to touch your knee. You just wanna feel that crunch in your oblique. That's the main thing. The other thing you could do is love bends. So since we have our weights today, this might be a good option. The main thing with love bends, you have basically one bullet point with love bends. From your belly button down, stays still, okay? The temptation as you let the weight fall is always going to be to allow your hip to jut out to the side. You wanna keep your hips square, just like this. So as your torso bends, you want to have from your belly button down stationary. So instead of allowing this hip to jut out to the side, you want your hips to stay perfectly square over your legs, over your feet the entire time. So I always like to place my free hand on my hip just to kind of remind me, and so I can kind of feel if that hip is starting to jut out to the side. Another thing is that I have the advantage of being able to see myself in the camera while I'm recording. So doing this in front of a mirror is helpful, or recording yourself so that you can see if you're allowing your hip to jut out to the side, because you can't always feel it. But as long as you're able to keep your hips perfectly square and still, this is a really effective exercise. So all you're going to do is start by holding your weight towards one side. Your hips are, your feet are more or less in line with your hips, maybe a touch wider, maybe closer to shoulder width, but whatever's comfortable for you, okay? You don't want them super wide, and they're definitely not together. Place your free hand on your hip, and then it's like there's just an invisible force gently pulling the weight straight down. So you're going to allow the weight to kind of fall down, just following the natural line of your leg. And as you do that, you're trying to prevent your hip from jutting out. You want to keep your hips perfectly in line, perfectly square and in line over your feet, okay? And if you can manage to do that, you're really going to feel this in your obliques. Then you're going to engage your obliques to return to your starting position to lift your torso upright again, okay? So just allowing the weight to drop down, following the natural line of your leg, making sure those hips stay still from the belly button down, nothing's moving, and then engaging your obliques to lift your torso upright again. All right, so that's another standing abs option in case you're unable to get down on the mat, one with weight and one without. And that's it, that's all 4 exercises. So now here's the format. We're starting with our squat and push-up combo, and I'm going to do 20 sets of that combo. Then I'm going to move on to lunges and abs. So I'm going to do 20 reps of lunges all on one side. If you remember this lunge variation, my standing leg was staying planted the entire time. I was lunging back with this foot, and then this foot was coming straight up in front of me. My standing leg is still planted. And then I was going right into my next rep by swinging this foot behind me, doing another lunge, knee up and punch. So I'm gonna stay on one leg for 20 reps. And then I'm going to do 20 reps of sit-ups, and then we're gonna repeat that little couplet before we move on and finish up with our squats and push-ups. So I'll do another 20 lunges on the other leg, and then I'll finish up that middle section with another 20 reps of sit-ups. And then all we have to do to finish up is our final set of 20 reps of our squat and push-up combo. And if you're doing one leg version of squats and push-ups and you're not alternating legs with each rep, so if you did the entire first set of 20 on one leg, you're gonna have to switch legs, okay? Again, your alternative to that is to switch legs with each rep, and then you can just do the same thing both times that we do that couplet. But that's it, that's the format. That is how I am completing my 160 reps today. Hopefully that is all clear. Please remember that I always take the time to type out the instructions in the description box down below the video, and I'm going to do the workout with you, so watch me do it, read the instructions, but then of course, as always, if anything is unclear with the format and how it all fits together, how you can make adjustments and modify it, if you have any questions about the exercises themselves, or if you have any doubts about how to do the exercises with the correct form, I'm right here to help, so please just ask. It is incredibly important that you understand how to do the exercises with the correct form before you begin the workout, so that you reduce your risk of injury and just so that you make sure you're getting the maximum benefit out of each exercise. So make sure that you understand the movement, ask questions if you have them. And you guys know it's also really important to me that all of my workouts are always accessible to anyone and everyone who wants to do them with me. I'm always here to help facilitate that, and especially so for this challenge this year. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help, if you need any further help with beginner modifications beyond what I've already provided, or if you need any more help with equipment-free substitutions, I'm right here. And then just one more thing before we get started. I want to remind you, please, especially if you're going to be working out along with the video, to go at your own pace and don't sacrifice your form. It's really important that you're not sacrificing your form for speed. If you're in decent shape, you're probably going to be quite a bit faster than I am, and that's great. Be faster than I am, okay? Just make sure you're not sacrificing your form to get there. If you find that you're racing through the exercises just because you want to go fast for the sake of going fast so you can say you got a great score, or if you're racing to keep up with me, but you find that your form is starting to get sloppy, that means you need to slow down. All right, it's one thing to have a time goal, but you don't want to sacrifice your form to get there. Don't sacrifice your form for speed. Having a time goal is great, but it's more important to follow through on your objective, which is proper form. All right, so you need to make sure you understand how to do the exercises properly before you begin, but then you need to make sure you're applying that knowledge during the workout and actually doing the exercises with the correct form. So if you find that your form is getting sloppy because you're racing to go faster, you're getting fatigued, you need to slow down. All right, and if you fall behind because you're either just working at a slower pace than I am, or because you find that you need to pause and rest, then pause and rest. Pause the video and come back when you're ready. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be right here, okay? So if you need to pause and rest, pause and rest. I do want you to challenge yourself to keep your rest breaks as short as you can, but they should be as long as you need. You should only resume the workout when you feel that you have regained enough strength and you have enough stamina to continue with good form. So do your best to keep the rest breaks short, but make sure they're as long as you need, okay? Again, just please be smart, be safe, listen to your body. Make sure you're going at your own pace. Make sure you're working to your own level, and make sure you're minding your form. Please don't sacrifice your form for speed. Hopefully I have covered everything. If you are ready to do this workout, go ahead and grab an exercise mat or a yoga mat if you have one. If not, a towel may suffice. And again, if you're working out on a carpeted floor or on grass, you may not need anything at all, but if you have something soft beneath you, you will be much more comfortable. So if you do have something like an exercise mat or a yoga mat, definitely go ahead and get that ready. If you need to hold on to something for support, like a chair or a bar stool, any kind of strong, sturdy, stable, elevated surface will work, so get that ready if you need it. And if you are adding weight to the workout with me today, go ahead and grab a light set of dumbbells if you have them. If not, household items like a couple of water bottles or shampoo bottles filled with water or uncooked rice, dried beans, kitty litter, powdered laundry detergent, something like that. And then you can go ahead and pause the video, get dressed, meet me right back here. We are going to do a quick 5-minute warm up, and then we'll get our reps done together. All right, so as soon as you're ready, let's get started with our 5-minute warm up. You're going to begin by just allowing your head to gently fall towards one shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. You're not actively pulling your ear down towards your shoulder. You're just resting your hand on top of your head and letting gravity do all of the work of gently stretching the other side of your neck. Now we're going to switch sides, so let go with your hand. Allow your head to fall towards the other shoulder. Place your hand on top of your head and just rest it there. Make sure both of your shoulders are relaxed. Don't let your shoulder creep up towards your ear. Now we're going to do some neck rolls. So you're going to let go with the hand and allow your chin to fall towards your chest and then to the other shoulder and then back. And with each roll, just feel your head getting heavier and heavier. Make sure your arms are nice and loose like a rag doll. And just start really expanding your range of motion, swinging through. Now we're gonna do some shoulder rolls. So nice big circles with the shoulders. Exaggerate that movement. Make the circles as big as you can. The next exercise is arm circles, but we're going to start small. So you're going to extend your arms straight out to the side, and you're going to make small circles. But as the interval progresses, you're going to gradually start making your circles bigger and bigger, expanding your range of motion with each rotation until finally you're making the circles as big as you possibly can. Next, we're gonna step our feet out wide, wider than shoulder width apart. Bend the knees and kind of sweep your hands in front of you. And as you straighten the legs, you're gonna reach up above you. And with each squat, you're expanding your range of motion, sinking deeper and deeper. Now leave your feet planted right where they are. We're just gonna lunge side to side, nice and easy. Adding the arms. So with each lunge, you're reaching across your body, like you're trying to throw your arm across the room. Now we're gonna step the feet into the middle and march. Knees are nice and low to start, but gradually, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until you're driving your knees up as high as you can, feeling a little stretch in your glutes. Now we're gonna do the same thing with a jog. So you're gonna start with a nice light jog. Knees are low, but then gradually, as the interval progresses, you're gonna start driving your knees up higher and higher towards your chest until you're driving them up as high as you can go. Next is booty kicks. So it's still a nice light jog, but with each step, you're bringing your foot behind you, trying to kick yourself in the booty with your heel. For this next one, you might need to hold on to a chair or the wall for support. If not, you can just have your hands on your hips, transfer your weight into one foot, and just swing the leg. Swing the leg in front and behind, nice and loose. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So you're gonna put this foot down, transfer your weight to the other side, pick up the opposite foot, and swing the leg in front of you and behind you. You can start low, and then gradually start expanding your range of motion. Now we're going to extend this leg straight out in front, keeping the toes on the ground, and just make a semicircle, drawing that leg around and behind you, lifting the leg higher and higher with each semicircle. And then finally, you can drive the knee up in front of you and kind of guide it around with your hand. Other side. So extend the leg out straight in front of you, making little semicircles, raising that leg higher and higher with each semicircle, and then finally driving the knee up in front of you, guiding it around with your hand. This is our last interval. So we're gonna do a quick hamstring stretch. It's easiest to use the wall or a chair or stool or the arm of your couch to get into this stretch while keeping your back flat. You don't necessarily have to do this stretch with a flat back. If you have your back rounded, you're not going to hurt yourself, but you'll find that flattening out your back really intensifies that stretch in your hamstrings. And since we're only spending a few seconds in this stretch, you want to maximize the effectiveness. So keeping your back flat is how we do that. And it's just much easier to keep your back flat and much more comfortable to find that position if you lean onto a chair or the arm of your couch. So that's why I always demonstrate it on this little post over here. You can even just use the wall, that's fine, or an end table, whatever works. But that's it. That's our 5-minute warm-up. All right, so as soon as you're ready, we are starting with our squat and push-up combo. I'm doing an assisted pistol squat plus an inchworm, a one-leg push-up, then I'm gonna inchworm back in. That's 1 set. I'm staying on the same leg for all 20 sets. So you can stay on one leg the entire time if you want, or you can alternate legs with each rep. And remember, if you don't want to be on one leg, you can keep both feet on the ground for your squat, you can keep both feet on the ground for your inchworm, and both feet on the ground for your push-up, or both knees on the ground for your push-up. Basically, any squat variation you want to do, then inchworm out. Any push-up variation you want to do, and inchworm back in 20 sets. So do your best. As soon as you're ready, here we go. I'm starting my timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. So I'm going to start towards one end of my mat. I'm going to pick up one foot. The foot is behind me. Roll the shoulders back and down. Chest is lifted high. Abs are super strong and tight and engaged. Push the booty back, keeping the back flat, keeping the weight in the heel as you sink down into that pistol squat. Using this back foot to assist you as much as you need, but as little as possible. Now pressing the heel into the ground to stand. Again, using this back foot to assist you as much as you need, but as little as possible. Now hands go down. You can put both feet down for the inchworm if you need to. I'm going to inchworm out on one leg, and I'm going to do my push-up from this position with one leg elevated. Now I'm going to inchworm back in, also on one leg, and stand. That's 1 set. So I need to do that 19 more times. You can switch legs with each set if you want. That's going to make it much less torturous. I feel like torturing myself today, I guess. So I'm going to stay on one leg the entire time. It's going to be super tough. So just do your best. All right? So that was my first set. I'm counting that as my first set. I need to do 19 more. So lift the leg, pistol squat, stand. Inchworm out on one foot, one leg push up, inchworm back in, and stand. That's 2. really challenging staying on my leg the whole time. So I might just do little sets of 5. All right, see if I can do another 5 without having to stop and shake it out. That's 10 for me. I'm halfway there. Just my foot and my glutes more than anything in this standing leg. Get so fatigued staying on the same leg the whole time, so need a minute to shake it out. I'm gonna see if I can continue with sets of 5. So picking up my count at 10. And I'm gonna see if I can do another 5 unbroken. When you're ready, here we go. I can't even balance on one foot right now. Cheeks are going to be sore tomorrow. That's 15. Just 5 more. try, I decided to stay on one leg for all 20 sets. And the second time through is going to be even more challenging because it's always my inclination to start on my stronger leg. I really should work towards correcting that and starting on my weaker leg, because now when we get around to doing the other side, which is my weaker leg, I'm going to be so much more fatigued than I was at the start of the workout. It's going to be even that much more difficult, so, you know. So now for our lunge, I'm doing a weighted reverse lunge with a touch down and a cross body punch. So you can eliminate the added weight if you want, but if you're adding weight with me, you're going to start holding your weight in front of you. Step back with one foot, sink into that lunge, and bring the weight down towards that front foot, then drive the knee up towards your chest, twist and punch. Right into the next rep. So, reverse lunge, reach down with the weight, drive the knee up, twist and punch. That's 2. Oops. That's 3. We're going to 10, or 20, do your best. Give this booty a rest. This leg and this booty cheek and this foot, they're crying. So let's come down onto the mat for abs. Eliminate the weight if you want. Just do any sit-up variation you want. I'm doing a weighted sit-up plus a tricep overhead press. So press that low back into the mat, starting with the weights up overhead. You're gonna sit up, press the weights up overhead, and now bend the elbows, let the weights fall behind you, press them back up overhead, and reverse the movement, lowering your torso back down to the mat with control. So remember, on this tricep overhead press, to make sure your elbows are staying glued to your temples. You're hinging at the elbows. So from your shoulders to your elbows is not gonna move at all. That's 3. So sit up and reach, tricep overhead press, return to your starting position. That's 4. And 5, we're going to 20. Let's pick up the pace if you can. All right, that's 20. So now we're going to repeat this middle section, another 20 lunges, and then another 20 sit-ups. So just make sure you're switching legs. So my first round of lunges, I was stepping back with this leg. Now this leg is gonna be forward. This is gonna be my standing leg. It'll stay planted. And I'm going to be stepping back with the opposite foot and lunging, swinging this knee up, okay? So we're at the halfway point now. We've completed 20 squats, 20 lunges, 20 reps of abs, and 20 push-ups. All we're gonna do now is repeat the couplet and then do another 20 sets of our squats and push-ups combo. So you've seen everything. Let's try to pick up the pace for this second half. So 20 lunges on the other foot as soon as you're ready. Lunge, touch the weight down, drive the knee up towards the chest, twist and punch right into the next rep. Step back and lunge, touch the weight down towards your front foot, drive the knee up, twist and punch. That's 2. I'm gonna zip it so that I can focus on my movement. I'm counting those first 2 reps, so I need to do 18 more. Do your best. I think that's 20. I'm gonna do a couple more just to make sure, because I was chit-chatting through the first few reps. Might have lost count. Okay, as quickly as you can, down on the mat for our final 20 sit-ups. Sit up, tricep overhead press. It's 1, 2, we're going to 20. So now lunges are done, abs are done. Squats and push-ups are only halfway done, so we need to finish up with our final 20 squats, final 20 push-ups. So wish me luck. I'm on my weaker leg this time. Same exercise, opposite leg. So make sure if you did all of your first 20 reps on one leg that you're switching legs. If not, you could just alternate legs with each rep, whatever works for you. All right, I'm stalling because I know this is gonna be torture. Sooner I start, sooner I'm done, so here we go. Roll the shoulders back and down, chest lifted high, tighten up those abs. Lift up the foot, bend the knee. Pistol squat. Hands down for the inchworm. Push up. Crawl back in. I was gonna say step back in, but I'm inchworming back in. That's 1 set. 1 down, 19 to go. All right, here we go. Let's do this. I'm probably gonna attack these in sets of 5 again. So that's my first 5. See if I can do another 5 unbroken. When you're ready, here we go. That's 10 for me. Stay patient with yourself. If you're wobbling, just fight and keep fighting for that balance. Remember, we embrace the wobble because all of that wobbling while you're struggling to find your balance is actually great core work. It's causing all of those tiny little stabilizer muscles in your core to have to be firing like crazy. So I know it's frustrating if you find that you're losing your balance and kind of wobbling. Just try to reframe it and focus on the good work that you're doing for your core. Easier said than done, I know, but do your best. So that's 11 for me. I'm gonna try to get to 15 without stopping if I can. Just continuing to do groups of 5. Obviously the goal is to never tap that foot down, but you know, as you fatigue, it's harder and harder to balance, and especially if you're on your weaker leg with me right now. So obviously if you need to check your balance, you tap that foot down and check your balance. I lost track of my count again. I need to zip my lip. I think that was 15. I'm pretty sure. Let me just do one more just in case. That may have been 16, but I'm calling it 15 because I was chit-chatting and I lost track of time. I'd rather know that I may have done one extra rep than to wonder if I didn't do enough. So once I get that thought in my head that I lost track and I might have skipped a rep, I'm not gonna be able to get rid of it until I scratch that itch on my brain by doing another rep. All right. If you need to rest longer, pause the video. We just have 5 sets left, so I'm gonna push through, try to get these final 5 sets done without stopping. And I'm gonna zip the lip so I don't lose track of my count and end up doing extra reps. So that's 16. Maybe starting to use that back foot to assist you more and more as you fatigue, that's fine. It's 17, 3 more. Remember, it's there to assist you. So use it as much as you need, but make sure that you're continuing to push yourself to make your standing leg do as much of the work as you possibly can. What is that, 17? That might have been 18, I'm not sure. I'll call it 17. It was at least 17. I think it was 18. But again, I said I was gonna zip my lip so I wouldn't lose track of my count. I didn't zip my lip. I lost track of my count. I'm calling that 18. So I'm gonna do 2 more, but I think yet again, I'm gonna end up doing an extra rep. That's okay. I think when I was demonstrating this exercise, so I'm calling that 19, I'm doing 1 more. I demonstrated every single rep on my right leg because that's my stronger leg, so it's easier for me to demonstrate on that side. So if I ended up doing a couple more reps on the left side during the course of the workout, that's fine with me. I look at it as though I'm evening myself out. And anyway, this this is my weaker leg, so it needs more work to try to get it as strong as the other leg. So it's all right. I think I ended up doing a couple extra reps on that side. Who cares? It's done now. So that ended up taking me 23 minutes and 50 seconds, which is definitely longer than I wanted to, but that was a tough little workout. And I got the reps done, so I'm good with that. Now, it's really important to get up. I know after a tough workout like that, the temptation is to just collapse on your mat in the fetal position. Maybe have a good cry. Trust me, I've been there, but you need to make yourself get up and move around. So we're gonna do a little cool down together. I really don't do very much of a structured cool down. You can if you want to, but just pacing around is fine. Pace around, swing the arms a little bit. The point is just that you wanna keep moving. You wanna keep the circulation going while you allow your breathing to normalize and while you allow your heart rate to come down a little bit. So let's go ahead and just do a quick shoulder stretch. Just gonna bring one arm across your body, bend the other arm, and use it to gently pull your straight arm in close to your chest, making sure that the arm that's being stretched is completely relaxed. Make sure your shoulders are completely relaxed. So again, you don't want your shoulders hunched up by your ears. Relax the shoulders so that you can really get that nice stretch. If your muscle is all tense and tight and your shoulders hunched up by your ears, then this is for nothing because your muscle is not going to be able to stretch if it's tense. You have to make sure your muscles are relaxed. It's gonna make the stretch easier, more comfortable, and more effective, okay? So shake it out, stretch the other shoulder. So bring the other arm across your body, bend the opposite arm and use that arm to pull the straight arm in towards your chest, making sure the arm that's being stretched is completely relaxed, making sure the shoulder is relaxed so that it can really get a nice stretch here. And while you're doing this, you're breathing. Nice controlled breath, trying to normalize your breathing a little bit. Let's get the triceps. So you're gonna bend one elbow, place the opposite hand on your elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that your free hand is relaxed and pointing straight down towards the ground. So this hand, make sure it's not up here somewhere. You want it completely relaxed. It should be pointing directly straight down towards the ground. And again, make sure you're not hunching your shoulders up. Keep the shoulders down and relaxed. Shake it out. We're gonna get the triceps on the other side. So bend the opposite elbow. Place your hand on the elbow and gently pull your elbow towards the opposite shoulder, making sure that your free hand is relaxed, pointing straight down towards the ground. Nice. Shake it out. You're gonna do a quick hamstring stretch. So you may be struggling with your balance. Even if you're someone who doesn't normally struggle with balance, when you're fatigued, it becomes harder to balance. So if you're still feeling really fatigued, you may want to hold onto a chair or the arm of your couch or your dining room table for support. But you're going to pick up one foot, bring the foot behind you, and then you're going to reach back and grab onto the top of your foot with both hands, and then gently press your heel into your booty cheek. Feeling that stretch in your quads. And as you do that, you want to make sure that you are rotating or tilting your pelvis forward. Okay, so kind of like tucking your booty underneath you. Imagine trying to suck your belly button all the way back to your spine. And as soon as you do that, you're going to feel that stretch intensify in your quad. So if you're standing in a neutral position, there's going to be a curve here in your spine. you want to tilt your pelvis forward, flattening out that curve. So let's pick up the other foot, bring the foot behind you, grab on to the top of your foot with both hands. Gently press your heel into your booty cheek. And now tilt your pelvis forward. Tuck your booty under, suck your belly button all the way back to your spine. Remember, as you do that, to continue pressing your heel into your booty cheek, and you're going to really feel that stretch intensify in your quad as soon as you tuck your booty under. Tilt your pelvis forward like that. Just makes this stretch much more intense, much more effective. Shake it out. And another thing I want to do today is make sure I'm taking time to stretch my feet. When I do those assisted pistol squats, I always really feel it in my feet because I'm only working one leg at a time. So when I'm pressing my heel into the ground and really activating all of those muscles from my feet all the way through my legs, my quads, my glutes, oh God, my poor glutes. They definitely got to work out today. But I'm really working that foot hard. That foot is gripping the ground. And I think that for most of us, we don't think too much about our feet and about strengthening them. When I do an exercise like that, it really reminds me that I need to actually strengthen my feet. And then after I do a workout like that, where I'm really working my feet, I always make sure that I take extra time to stretch my feet. That's another thing when you're doing your stretching routine, don't forget to stretch your feet. So really you can just come into like a demi-point, Barbie feet, right? So just lifting your heel as high as you can and pressing the ball of your foot into the mat or the ground or the floor. Walk it out a little bit. And that's it, that's our little cool down. So one more time, shake out the legs, shake out the arms, swing around, loosen up those shoulders. We worked our shoulders a lot today. We worked our feet and our quads and our glutes a lot today. Abs, that was a nice little full body workout. Well done. If your heart rate has not returned to normal yet and you're still struggling to get your breathing under control, then just continue to pace around. You can do a little more light stretching, and once you're nice and cooled down, we'll go ahead and do our bonus burpee together. So pause if you need to. If you're ready to do the bonus burpee, let's go ahead and do that now. Remember that no workout of mine is ever complete until we have done our bonus burpee. And I know I'm gearing the challenge towards beginners this year, so you may be a beginner, but that does not exclude you from doing your bonus burpee. Everyone must do a bonus burpee after every single workout. It is mandatory. I am going to be including a push-up with my bonus burpee, but you don't have to. You've done 40 push-ups already today, that's enough. You've met your requirement to participate in the challenge. So there are a million different burpee variations. Many of them contain a push-up, many of them do not. You can do any burpee variation you want, so with or without a push-up. I'm going to walk you through how to do a beginner bonus burpee. I will be including a push-up, but if you don't want to do the push-up, just eliminate it, all right? But for your beginner bonus burpee, you're going to start by standing in the middle of your mat. You are going to bend down and place your hands flat on the mat in front of you, and then you're going to step your feet back so that you are in a plank position. Now, knees down for the push-up if you're doing a push-up. If not, you can eliminate it. Step the feet back in and stand. Come up onto your toes if you can, and if you want, you can add a little jump. If you are not a beginner and you would like to try to do the push-up from your toes, let's go ahead and just do one final bonus burpee together, and then the workout will be officially complete. So as soon as you're ready, here we go. Final rep of the day. With that, the workout is now officially complete. Well done. And now it's really important that you are taking at least a good 15 or 20 minutes to stretch. Immediately after the workout is going to be the most effective and the most efficient time to do your stretching. But if you don't have time to stretch now, that's fine. You can stretch later on in the day. Just remember that if you put off your stretching until later in the day, that your muscles will have gotten cold again. So you are going to need to take a few minutes to warm them back up before you begin stretching. The same way we warm up before the workout, it's also really important that you're warming up your muscles before jumping into your stretching routine so that you reduce your risk of injury. Your muscles will be more pliable if they're warm, so you're less likely to overstretch or strain something or pull a muscle. If you can get your stretching done right now, then obviously your muscles are already nice and warm from the workout, so you don't need to warm them up. You can just jump right into your stretching routine. But it doesn't matter when you stretch, as long as you get your stretching done. It's really important that you're not skipping your stretching, because taking the time to stretch every day is going to help alleviate any muscle soreness that you might be experiencing, and it's also going to help to reduce your risk of injury moving forward, and it's going to improve your flexibility and your mobility. So make sure that you are taking the time to stretch every single day if you're a beginner and you really don't know how to stretch and you need a stretching routine for beginners. First of all, you can just open up YouTube and search for beginner stretching routine. There's gonna be tons of great options. See what looks good to you and just pick one. It does not matter what you do for your stretching routine, just as long as you get it done. I have a stretching routine that I do every single day. If you would like that routine specifically, just ask. I'm more than happy to share the link. Before I do my stretching, I'm going to add on 20 minutes of moderate paced cardio with my jump rope. That is why I am holding Victoria. Victoria is my beautiful silver jump rope with the pretty light pink metallic handles. And if you would like to know where I got Victoria, there is a link and a coupon code in the description box down below the video. So click on the link and use coupon code RUDEBECCA to save an additional 10% on your jump rope. The additional cardio is not required. It is not officially part of the challenge, but I'm letting you know that I'm doing it because every year when I do this challenge, this is how I do it. I add on 20 to 30 minutes or more of moderate paced cardio after every single workout. So 9 times out of 10 for me, that's jump rope. That's what I'm doing today. I'm going to reset my timer for 40 rounds of 10-second rest intervals and 20-second work intervals. That's 20 minutes. I'm gonna play some music and get my cardio done, 20 minutes. And then I'll do my stretching, have a shower, and get on with the rest of my day. But it can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want. So you could go for a jog or even just a brisk walk. You could go for a bike ride, or if you have something like an elliptical or a treadmill or an exercise bike, you could hop on one of those for 20, 30 minutes, more if you want. If you have access to a heavy bag, you could work on your heavy bag. If you have access to a pool or you live by the beach, you could go for a swim. If you have access to hiking trails, you can go for a hike, or it can be something like an activity that you enjoy, like you could play a couple sets of tennis. Anything, okay? So any kind of moderate paced cardio is fine. It doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. And again, it's not required, but this is the way I do the challenge every year. So I just want to be transparent. I want to be upfront with you that I'm doing more than just these 160 reps every day. This is all I'm doing for strength training. I am relying solely on these 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, and 40 push-ups a day every day for my strength training. But I'm also adding cardio after every workout. And the reason that I do this is because I am trying to use this challenge to get myself back in shape. I need to lose weight. I definitely need to improve my stamina and my endurance, and I want to strengthen my heart and my lungs. So adding on the cardio after every workout goes a long way towards helping me to accelerate that process. And it enables me to start seeing results faster. And as soon as I start seeing the results of all my hard work and I see that what I'm doing is working, it really encourages me to keep going, and that makes motivation easier to come by. So it makes it easier to follow through on my commitment to complete the challenge, and it just kind of snowballs from there. And I'm always so much happier with my results at the end of the challenge as a result of this added cardio. So if you are also looking to use this challenge to get in shape or lose weight, The additional cardio is going to help accelerate that process for you, and I do think that you will be happier with your results at the end of the challenge. So I know that we're working out 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday of every week. That means I'm doing 6 cardio sessions in a row every week, and that's a lot. You may not physically be able to do 6 cardio sessions a week, or you just may not have the time to do it, and that's fine. Again, you don't have to do any cardio at all if you don't want to, but I do very strongly recommend that even if you can just find 2 or 3 days a week to sneak in a cardio session. It can be any kind of moderate paced cardio you want, and it doesn't have to be more than 20 or 30 minutes. And one last time, a little louder for the people in the back. The additional cardio is not required. It is not mandatory. It is not technically, officially part of the challenge, but it's the way I do the challenge. And I just strongly recommend that if you can find 2 or 3 days a week to add on a cardio session after the workouts, you're going to be a lot happier with your results at the end of the challenge. So it is not required, not officially part of the challenge, but strongly recommended. But whether or not you are doing cardio today, our 161 reps are complete. We have done 40 squats, 40 lunges, 40 reps of abs, 40 push-ups, and 1 bonus burpee. So that is officially a wrap on day 31. We have just 9 days left to go. Well done. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did this workout with me today, thank you so much. Please let me know what you thought of it and how you did. Thank you to everyone who has been working out with me lately. And even if you are not doing the workouts with me, thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for liking and sharing the videos. Thank you so much for all of your wonderful and supportive and engaging comments. It truly does mean the world to me. Thank you so much to everyone who is doing the challenge with me. This is the most people I have ever had join me for the challenge. You guys are all doing an incredible job. If you are not doing the challenge, please remember that it is not too late to join. It is never too late to join. You can hop in today and start with day 31. That's great. Just do the final 10 days of the challenge with me. Of course, if you do want to go back to the beginning and start the challenge on day 1, that is recommended. So remember to save the playlist, watch that video for day 1, and then when you're ready to begin the challenge, make sure you start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday. Any random Wednesday will work. Just start with your day 1 workout on a Wednesday, and then everything will fall into place. All you have to do is follow along with the playlist. I've made it super easy to follow along, but again, remember that I am here to help. So I am here to answer questions and provide guidance. I am here to encourage you to keep going, to help motivate you and to support you. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or if you need help. I also need to say thank you to all of my new subscribers. If you are not subscribed already, please subscribe. And of course, a great big thank you to those of you who have been subscribed to my channel for years. Please know that I appreciate you all so very much. One final reminder that if anything was unclear with the format of today's workout and how everything fits together, or if you need help making adjustments and modifications to the format, if you have questions about any of the exercises that we were doing for today's workout, any doubts at all about how to do the exercises with the correct form, or if you need any further help with equipment-free substitutions, since we were using equipment today, or beginner modifications beyond what I have already provided, I am right here to help, so please just ask. That is going to do it for today. I will see you all right back here tomorrow for day 32. Bye.